That's what Mary does to me right before I go live. Welcome back to the Producer's Perspective Live. I'm Ken Davenport. Tonight, casting director for some of Broadway's biggest hits, including this season, Six, Sing Street, Phantom of the Opera, Cats, and a whole bunch more, including a couple of my upcoming shows, which we might talk about. Tara Rubin, and Tara's charity of choice tonight is a wonderful new organization called Black Theater United. We're going to raise some money for them. So go ahead, hit that like button, share this stream, and join me and Broadway's biggest casting director, Tara Rubin, right now.
We're getting the band back together, getting the boys who rock again. We're getting the band back together, rocking the midst of a place that remembers when some punks from the suburbs lit the sky with too much reverb. We're getting the band back together.
Hello, everybody. You are the band. We are back together. It is Taco Tuesday. Welcome back to the live stream, everybody. How is everybody tonight? Give me some shout outs in the old comments here. Let me see them. I'm thrilled to see all of you here from all over the. Hello, Alan. How are you doing? Welcome back to the live stream. Good to see you again. So excited to have you all here. You know, first of all, a big shout out to the composer and lyricist of that theme song, Mark Allen. That's from my show, Getting the Band Back Together, which you probably missed because it didn't last very long. But you know what? Even on the toughest days, I can't help but smile hearing that theme song. And that's what this is about. We're getting the band back together during this pandemic when we actually can't physically be in the room. And tonight we have a great member of my band, Tara Rubin, Broadway casting director, who's going to join us. If you're an actor, boy, did you pick the right live stream to tune into. We're going to get lots of tips, including how to audition when you have to do it on a screen like this. You can edit, can't do that live. Anyway, we're going to get to a lot of things like that. Welcome back to all of you who are watching on a replay right now. We know a bunch of you actually watch on replay. And a reminder to all of you not watching on replay, you can catch all of the replays, 64 episodes. 64 episodes. I did not imagine when I'm 64. I did not imagine. There's my 16 bars, Tara Rubin, by the way. That was it. I did not imagine we'd be doing 64 episodes of this sucker when we started them. I was like, man, you know, we'll do like 14. Then this thing will go away. It hasn't gone away. It's still here. It's still here. Anyway, so we're still here. We're going to keep doing it. Mary and I were just talking before we got started about scheduling out through November. We've got people lined up for October, so stick with us. We've got some guests. They're getting more and more fancy as we go. We got all sorts of fun people showing up as word spreads about all of you that are watching. So thanks for that. We had a couple episodes. We had 2 episodes last week. One Tony Award winner and Broadway funny man, that's what I call him, John Rando, joined us last week and told us actually how he was part of the European wave of the coronavirus. He like brought it here from London. So go watch that and send him like some nasty email or something. No, it's super fun. And he's got great stories about Back to the Future. So go watch that one. And then we did our big Altar Boys reunion last Thursday. How many of you signed in for that? Look at that little shot there. I threw that up on my Instagram. Or that's actually Mary's monitor, I think. Yeah, she's nodding. That's Mary's. Yeah, that's her view. That's the Mary perspective, if you will. So go back and watch the Altar Boys reunion. It's a ton of fun. We debuted a new single from the Altar Boys, and we raised a bunch of money for the Actors Fund. So thanks to all of them for showing up, and thanks to all you Altarholics for showing up as well. Speaking of special episodes, Altar Boys reunion, I bought a domain name. By the way, that's a little marketing tip. Whenever you have a special event, don't do like facebook.com/username AB27. Just buy the GoDaddy domain name for $12 and point all the traffic there. We got more traffic as a result. There's a little marketing tip for you. Speaking of special live streams, we have a very special live stream this Thursday with an incredible up-and-coming director named Sammy Cannell. She is directing a show for me, and she is coming to us live from Korea, where she is currently quarantined. She's over there doing a documentary about the theater. We will tell you all about that on Thursday. And when you go to Korea, because they're very good at closing the doors on this virus, unlike certain countries that I'm in right now, she lands over there. She has to go to an army barrack to quarantine for 2 weeks before she can go about her work. So we're gonna find out what she's doing, and I'm just curious if she's eating kimchi like all day long. So we're gonna get the scoop from Korea and everything she's up to with Sammy on Thursday. Special episode Thursday. Oh, thank you, Sean Rose, for the 200 stars for the kimchi. I paid for some kimchi right there for Sammy. It's good. We're gonna send it right to her. Maybe try to get her a pizza over there or something. Thursday night, special episode, 8 o'clock. What else is going on? There's some good vaccine news today, maybe, so that's good, because I don't know about you. This has been a little bit of a funky week, especially as we watch this stuff going on outside of New York. For those of you in one of those hotspots, please be safe, wear a mask, okay? That's enough I'm gonna say about that. I saw a fun sign in, we gotta get this image. I saw a fun sign in, dang it, in Times Square where they have a picture of the Phantom mask, and there's a tagline that says, "Making masks popular since 1986" or something like this. And they used the wrong logo, so they're gonna have to shake that up a little bit and fix that. But I thought it was very clever. Anyway, speaking of Phantom of the Opera, let's bring on the casting director for Phantom of the Opera right now, and actually the casting director for like all of Andrew's shows. Please welcome my friend, Tara Rubin. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
It's good to see you. Tell me, where are you right now?
Well, right now I'm out in the Hamptons. I was in New York City until the beginning of June, end of May. So I was on the Upper West Side in my apartment, with my husband and one of my daughters. And now we're out here, and both girls and one boyfriend. And so got the whole family here. So it's good.
It's amazing the posses of people that have been gathering together in this time. I've talked to so many people that are like, yeah, my children are here, my cousin is here, some guy down the street that didn't have anywhere else to go, he was all alone, we brought him in, or feeding him. That's amazing. So I've been asking all my guests, where were you when the virus hit the fan? When you got the news that like, oh, this is serious, this is gonna affect the business, the world, and certainly my life going forward?
Yeah, I think I was kind of naive about how much it was going to affect the business, quite frankly. I knew it was possible that we would have to shut down, and I don't think I understood quite how, what it was like to live in a pandemic. So the day that Broadway shut down, we expected to go to the opening of 6. So there's and so at 5 o'clock, instead of going to that, we all went home. And so, and then in the week before that, we had begun to reach out to our producers and say we were very busy, and we had a lot of open calls and dance auditions, and auditions the day before we shut down. We were doing a dance audition, and I couldn't stop thinking about that. The first couple of weeks, like the fact that 100 of people were in the room together throughout a day, and it made me so concerned and worried about who got sick from being at that call. So that's where we were. We were in the thick of it, and then we all went home.
It's so fascinating. I think, it's, first of all, New Yorkers are very resilient. We never think anything is going to really affect us as much as it may. And then the theater makers, I think as a whole, are just like, the show will go on. We'll figure it out. So did you start canceling? Like, I'm sure you had auditions and other things lined up for the next week. Did you immediately start canceling things, or did you it took a few days?
The morning of the shutdown, we started talking to people, or the day before and the night before, we started getting in touch with people and asking, their advice and really relying on their leadership to agree with us that it would not be a great idea to continue to have auditions. So we did. That was about the 48 hours before the shutdown, and then the next week we did some EPAs, with Selftapes. When that was we immediately went into that mode, and we've continued to do that. So we didn't stop, but we stopped going to the office, and my team is we're really like children. We're so attached to each other. It's really kind of embarrassing. And so we've missed each other a lot, and had a lot of Zoom meetings, and we're all trying to keep ourselves together as we get through it.
So let's just dig in really to the casting process. So you have continued. Have you been continuing to cast through this period? Lots of people are doing Zoom readings. I did one. I've asked for your help. Tell me what producers like me have been asking you to do. What's the craziest thing someone's asked you to do or you've seen?
Well, it's kind of great because it is possible to keep the creative process going. We had you and I and your team for Broadway Vacation. We did a reading, and you sort of make the best of the resources that we have right now. We've continued to do auditions for the musical Six for the Chicago company, and we've kind of pursued that. Peter Van Dam, who's a fabulous casting director in my office, we've pursued that to as far as we can go until we can have an audition in person. So we're just trying to. So we've continued to do auditions. We've continued to do EPAs. There's a reading going on this week that we worked on. So we haven't stopped,
And so it sounds like, have you cast anyone solely through Zoom or video, or you get them all to a point and then okay, we'll see you live?
Yes. I mean, we haven't had to yet. We may get to that point where we cast someone through a Zoom callback and all of that. But we don't, because we keep delaying first rehearsal dates and everything keeps getting pushed forward. We haven't been in a position where it was necessary to make a final decision yet. So I suppose we might, if we get to that, but we still have 4 or 5 months before we'll probably be in rehearsal.
Yeah, and this is a bit of a digression, but I'm starting to hear these rumblings of listen, we're gonna get this go ahead to start doing development and rehearsals. And the development especially, which so many of us are me included, just feel handcuffed, right? We're in straitjackets, we can't get in a room. Everyone's gonna try to do a reading at exactly the same time.
Yes. Yes.
There's going to be 17,000 readings in the month of November, December, or January, whenever that is. Everyone's.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I hope we're all in that situation.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. So back to the casting process. How many, or what percentage of your auditions now are tape versus Zoom? Are you doing singing auditions through Zoom?
Yeah, we've been, we send a track and people sing along with that in their, from, wherever they are. And then we have done some, interactive Zoom auditions, callbacks, and we have some more of those scheduled. So there's that delay that I keep saying, would probably make Sandy Meisner roll over in his grave a couple of times, just because we can't quite, respond the way we normally would. But we're doing it, we're doing our best with it.
I assume everyone's just rolling with the punches, right? It's just,
yes.
What can you do?
Yes, we did early in June. a couple of casting, the Casting Society of America, which is the organization, the professional organization for casting directors. We did a seminar with Actors Equity, and we went through like the self-tape process, and we had casting directors. Lauren Port, the casting director at the Goodman Theater, had cast their upcoming Christmas Carol from start to finish, during quarantine. So, and that's a production that they do every year, and it kind of lent itself to the type of this, being in this situation. So we tried to go through the questions that actors have about self-taping and just assure them that, we are watching the self-tapes, we are continuing, and, we don't expect people to invest in expensive equipment or, we just want, it's the closest facsimile to being in person that we can do right now.
So give us your top tip for an actor that gets a call from your office tomorrow. You're a big powerhouse Broadway casting director. They haven't auditioned. Don't laugh. It's true. It is true. And you get this call from your office, and you're like, you're gonna get an audition for Tara Rubin. You've never auditioned for them before. It's just going to be on Zoom. And this person has never auditioned on Zoom before. What's the number one tip you would give that actor for doing their best?
Well, I would try to have the simplest background, the most neutral background you can. Test your microphone and test your lighting before you start, so that and run through it. It's the simplest technology in the world, but things still go wrong. So just make sure that the lighting, it doesn't have to be super lighting, but just make sure the light's in front of you, and that get it all arranged before you get on the call with us, so that we can get right to it. And it's no different from an in-person audition where you want to be ready when you walk in the room. You want to do your prep outside and be ready when you walk in the room. So I would say that will kind of empower them a little bit to know that, okay, the things that I can control, I've done, and now I'm just going to, go through this crazy experience. And the other thing would be to be as prepared as possible with whatever material you're presenting, so that the crazy things that might happen don't throw you, because I always say your prep is like your skeleton. It's going to hold you up no matter what's going on around you. Your child walks through the room while you're on, things like that we don't have to deal with in the others in live auditions, so that like whatever is happening, you're ready for it. You can continue to stay in the scene, stay in the song, whatever it is. I also think people should know that this has been like everyone is going through it. If you work in the theater, it has been kind of a leveling experience in a way. And so we know that. So if your child does walk through the Zoom audition, we understand that you're at home trying to be a parent and trying to audition for a project, and, try to make dinner out of what's in the pantry. So I hope people understand that we get it. We understand what people are going through.
It's such a great note, and I will just flip that around and tell people from the producer perspective, if you will. You sent me a tape of an actor who, at the end, his kids like jumped into the camera, and what I loved about the actor is he left it in the edit. And it was one of the smartest things that I've seen an actor do in this crazy time period, because he was just basically saying, this is me, this is who I am, this is the position we're in, and I'm okay and proud of it, and it's authentically me. And that's the one tip I always give actors, is just be you. And he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw it in there.
That's all we can do. What we're after is you. what we're after is what is like a little bit strange, a little bit quirky, a little bit perfect, a little bit imperfect, whatever it is that that is about you. Like that's what interests us. That the details of your character and your personality are what are going to fill in the character on the page, right? So we love to see what that is. I always go like this. I don't know why. It's like that ineffable, that like lifey stuff,
I mean, that is such an insightful note to all the actors out there, and I hope those you're listening, and especially you younger musical theater performers, because I will tell you that, like, I was a young musical theater performer at NYU, Tisch, all those things, and when you're a young student, and a lot of times you're getting thrown into the chorus, and the idea of being in the chorus is to try to be exactly like the person next to you. So all that I was trying to do was like be a robot, like not be unique, and trying to just say I can blend in, and that didn't work out so well. So
well, also I think choruses are different nowadays. Choruses are the texture. They're the lifeline of the whatever the community where of the story. They're the denizens of the town, or they're the whatever it is. So I think that actors in an ensemble have much more of an opportunity to create a character, and maybe create 7 characters over the course of an evening, but you might be playing a person, think about the cast of Jersey Boys, where, people play 12, 14. I should know exactly, what the top number of characters that everybody plays on. But so those are all, moments where you can seize the opportunity to act and seize the opportunity to create a character, no matter if it's 7 lines or 2 or whatever. It can still be a moment for an ensemble person.
That's another incredible insight into how musical theater has changed. Because you're right. I was trying to get cast in the non-union tour of Will Rogers' Follies.
Yes.
Right? I was trying to be an outlaw.
Yeah,
I was trying to get cast in the ensemble, just like, please, just blend in, don't stick out, you don't have any lines, dance like everybody else. And that has changed a lot. I'm trying to think if there was a musical in that period that you think started to tip it in the other direction. So this would be, mid-90s somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little whorehouse. Speaking of Tommy Tune was one way. Will Rogers, and then Best Little Whorehouse Goes Public, he kind of busted it all up and said, bring me a whole different gang. I'm trying to remember, any other musicals come to mind that really were the beginning of using an ensemble? Rent, maybe even?
Yes, and I think you could even take it back to Les Mis, where you have, 12, this, and the actors who are playing the students, the actors who are playing the Thénardier gang, they play all those different characters throughout the night, and a guy in a factory, so I think you could take it back to that far. As far as like dancing goes, like a musical that has a lot of dancing in it, I think of The Producers, which was 2001, I guess. 2000 or 2001, I think, because, you had the best of both worlds. You had the ensemble of singers and dancers who could do what you were describing, where they, become kind of a single unit, but then they all step forward and they played, a lot of the auditioning actors in other scenes. And that's when I at least as far as in my career, I remember understanding how dancers and singers and dancers had to become great actors, because they had to understudy the principal parts. And so, you really needed somebody who, like a guy in that ensemble, was going to go on for Nathan Lane, going to go on for Matthew Broderick. And so that was kind of a turning point for me, I think.
I want to go back to the Zooms for a second. Anyone trying to lip sync on you yet? Has anyone been recorded either a track of Nathan Lane singing, or even of himself? Like, I got the perfect version of me doing this an hour ago. I'm just gonna now play it. Anyone tried that?
I don't think so. No, not that I've experienced.
I would. That's what I'd do. What about, when I've always been told, and you tell me what you prefer. Oh, you audition, you come in the room, not a quick hello to everybody. You get down to business, right? You're going to get down to it. You don't want to waste anyone's time. You want to get. Do you find on Zoom it's a little more like talkative, or are people like checking in, going and?
I mean, it's a team bit just because we're all in this unusual situation, and so I think we all have a tremendous interest in like where are you, and who are you with? So there's a titch of that, I think, at the beginning of auditions, like how are you doing? How did you do with the tech part of it? So there's a bit more for those reasons, just kind of genuine human interest and concern. Are you okay? Is everybody in your family okay? Do you have old parents? Are they all right?
And do you think, or how do you think this will affect what you do when this vaccine comes? In turn, will there be more live stream, Zooming, taped auditions? Will we be like, oh, now we can I can't come across town, so I'm just going to Zoom it in, or I'm going to tape it in. Do you think that will be more prevalent?
I do, I think. I mean, I can see self-tapes kind of taking the place of screenings and auditions that usually take place in the early part of the casting process to keep people safer, to like all of us, like you try to only go to the grocery store once a week, I think that I could see it. I can't imagine that we would really cast a full Broadway musical original company and not meet the people and breathe the same air and have the experience of all being in a room together. I hope that doesn't go away. That's what I treasure most about the work that we do. So I don't think that it will ever completely take the place, but I can see aspects of it lasting. And yes, there will be that director or that person on the creative team or on the producing team who doesn't make it across town and expects to be able to Zoom in but we already kind of had that. There were people who were trying to Skype in and all of that. So, I feel like we'd already begun a slightly abusive use of taping, quite frankly.
The good news about it, though, of course, it allows for us to see people and for people to be seen that might not normally get that opportunity for whatever reason, wherever they are in the world, right? You're gonna
no geographical boundaries, no time space boundaries, really. You can
no budgetary boundaries, right?
Yeah,
because there may be people that I can't afford to fly in right now, but I'm really right for this role, and you can say, well, do this. This is what we do, and we can get you. Whereas in previous cases, people might say, we can't fly you in at this stage. We only fly people.
Right.
But
we had already begun to use Skype in some situations, particularly like in plays. If we used it in regional theater plays sometimes, because there would be an actor who was at the Goodman, and we wanted to consider him for a play at Yale Rep. And so we would set up a Skype audition in my office and, have a reader there for the actor. But usually, if we were going to make a decision under those circumstances, we would do it. It was usually an actor we already knew and that the director already knew. So it wasn't a complete substitute for or an actor whose work the director was familiar with. So it kind of, when used judiciously, it can absolutely save time, it really cuts down on expense for everybody. So yeah, it does have some some good aspects.
Will you just tell everyone, I think some people out there, what may not fully understand the job of a casting director. If you had to write a one-line description of what you did, one line, one sentence, what would it be?
I would say that casting directors collaborate with a creative team to find the appropriate actors to tell a story.
That's pretty good there off the top of your head. Just like I saw you, like I saw the thought bubble above your head as you're
Yeah. Well, I know it. I mean, it's just thinking about it, like it's a collaboration. You know, it's not really about the actors that I love the most. You know, it's about the right actors to tell the story that you have in your mind. So, you know, you've written a musical about a woman who's from Long Island, and I have to try to, you know, not that I have to find somebody who's from Long Island, but whatever her characteristics are, you know, what her socioeconomic background is, you know, all of those things that make up that character. It's really not about me finding my favorite person. It's finding the person who suits your imagination and your, you know, your team's imagination for that, you know. And so, I mean, obviously sometimes you think of someone who's a little bit outside of the general description, and you try that and you see what happens with that. So that's really a fun part of it too. But we're really about figuring out what the story is and who the right people are to tell it. And it comes from working with you, the text, the director, the music. It comes from all of those sources, that original source.
And Tara's talking about working on Joy right now, which is one of the new musicals that I'm working on, and she's done an amazing job already. We're just getting started. I can't wait. We were so close. You had put together a cast for that.
That was Claire. Yeah, my colleague Claire Burke was working very hard on that, and she had done a great job. We were close. We were close.
I was literally like, what can I do? Can I put everyone on a bus and take them to Florida then, at that time, because Florida was safe at that time? What can we do because I didn't want to lose this group of people. So, but we'll figure out how we get them back together.
We'll get it all back together, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Any great stories about seeing an actor come in like years before they made it, became a star, and being like, wow, that person's going to be something someday, where you recognize that maybe they weren't right for whatever it was you were casting, or maybe they got thrown in the ensemble, but you just knew that someone was going to be a big old Broadway star?
I mean, so many people, you know, like talent is talent. And, you know, I think of people who auditioned for particular projects, but then ended up doing a different project. I mean, one person who comes to mind is Norm Lewis. It was pretty clear that, like, that voice and just, you know, his physical presence, and he comes to mind. Someone asked me last week, and I mentioned him. I mean, you know, I think of Eva Noblezada being in the Jimmy Awards and going through the entire Miss Saigon casting process, and, you know, keeping herself together throughout that entire time, and you know, that was pretty amazing. So, but there's so many people that you could say that about. You know, I always think of us, people always call us like gatekeepers, and, you know, my current thing is, have you ever seen a casting director portrayed as a nice person in a movie or a television series? No, they're always kind of superficial and power hungry, and, you know, the casting directors that I know, like, volunteer in soup kitchens and are constantly trying to, you know, work with diverse groups of people to try to help bring them into our business. So that whole kind of gatekeeper thing, to me, it's always been more about opening doors because like we don't do anything. That the actor does the work. The actor does the audition. The actor convinces you that he or she is the right person for the part. Like we just opened that door. So it's hard for me to think of myself as like that, you know, that gatekeeper who, you know, won't let anybody in, because it seems like what I'm always trying to do is get as many people in as possible.
Yeah, well, you're so obviously a very mean and nasty person. As everyone watching this can tell right now. You're just a very dark soul.
I am.
It's really, that's why I brought you on, to have a little intervention to try to make you a little
Thank you.
joyful.
Thank you.
No, it's so funny. That's such a very, it's true. It's such a cliche. And actually, I'd say the same thing is true for producers. A lot of people think producers are walking around. I used to make this joke all the time. Producers walk around having drinks at Sardi's, wearing like tuxedos and top hats and all this stuff, and you know, only counting the money. And that's just not true. Everyone who I know as a producer is in it not because of money, frankly.
That's right. Like there's so many other things you could do to make money if you really, if that's really what you wanted, you know. I know it's like with that television series Smash was on, you know, and producers were always like throwing drinks in each other's faces and stuff. I remember thinking, like, I've been doing this for so long and I have never seen anyone behave like any of these people.
No, you're so right. There's so many other things we could be doing to try and make money. And believe me, lately I've been looking at it. And to be honest, and I'm sure like you, like so many other people right now, we are all going through these moments of like, oh God, what are we going to do? How are we going to make it through? And you know what? I'm in. I'm sticking with this. I'm sure you're sticking with this as well. And I know everyone out there should stick with it as well. We're going to get through this and get on the other side.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I hope that the that sense of humanity and looking after each other and you know, caring about each other and making sure that people are okay. I hope that sticks with us as, you know, as we go forward.
Yeah, I'm with you. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your pandemic with us.
Thank you.
The whole family and the neighbors and everyone else you've gathered into your little posse there. And I look forward to casting something with you very soon.
Thank you so much. Everybody wear your masks. Bye.
Bye-bye. That was Tara Rubin, everyone. As you can tell, she's just a very mean lady. She's just so hard to audition for. Actually, she's so open. You should see. I'm going to be honest. I'm not the best person to audition for. I don't like the process, which is why I hire someone like that. Because I tend to like, I don't even sit in the front table. I sit in the back because I don't want to like make the actress think I'm just in a bad mood because they're in the room. I just kind of hide. And she is so loving and so welcoming to everyone who comes in the door. And that's why I hire her all the time. So I'm so thankful she was here today for all of you, for all you actors out there, or for you directors. Lots of tips on what to look for when you're auditioning, especially now when you're auditioning during a pandemic and you have to do it on a screen just like this. So thanks, Tara, for joining us this evening. Who do we have next week, Mary? Tell the team who we've got coming up next week. Oh, right, Thursday. I forgot. Thursday, Sammy from Korea, kimchi, and an actual very, I guess they've had a few outbreaks, but a pretty successful controlling of this virus. So she's going to tell us what they're doing over there. She's actually doing a project about how the theater, which is up and running over there, she's doing a project on what they're doing. So we're going to learn a lot about their safety and their protocols, and all from her quarantine army barracks. So Thursday night, 8 o'clock. And I'm going to get into it. She's actually speaking at our conference because she's the real next generation of directors. And she's going to talk about what her vision is for theater in a new world. A little bit on Thursday, so tune in for that. She's going to talk more about that other conference in November 14th and 15th, which you can't buy tickets for right now. So don't ask because I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but we're getting there. What else? Don't forget about all those replays. Don't forget about my blog. I've been putting out a little more blog content lately, including I've got a few comments for Governor Cuomo coming up later this week. So go check that out and see what I've got to say about how he can help everyone, all the theater makers, in getting us back to where we need to be, and can make sure that theater is thriving, and help the city get back on its feet as well, because this city is powered by all you theater makers out there. Okay, so check that out. Don't forget about Black Theater United, which was Tara's charity of choice. Don't forget about that. We have that. There we go. Go check out that domain. Incredible new organization with a lot of very high-profile individuals getting behind a very, very important message right now. So go check that out. And then lastly, we always end up with something to make you smile. This comes from the International Thespians. I was not a thespian. I didn't know what that was. We didn't have them at my small private school, which only had 36 people in it when I was coming up. But boy, I wish I did. I've known a lot. I've learned a lot about this organization. In fact, I'm going to be announcing a little bit of a partnership with them coming up very, very soon. So go check out theproducersperspective.com/smile, theproducersperspective.com/smile. They do a compilation video. This is me from The Greatest Showman, and it is very, very moving and makes you smile. So go check it out. Thanks so much. Join us this Thursday, 8 o'clock, New York time, Korea time. I think it's 13 hours ahead. So it's next morning for her. Look, Mary's nodding like, you did that math correct. It's going to be 7 a.m. over there. It's going to be very early. We'll see if Sammy's having kimchi for breakfast. See you Thursday, 8 o'clock. Bye-bye, everybody.
Getting the band back.